Hey y'all, in 4H&H. Terrible voice, I know. Got a cold. So I'm working a lot of CW. Gonna see if I can get that SOTA station out there. Using the EFHW. It gave me a 579. I never heard of a dit from him, but anyway, got him in the log. AJ6CL. He is on, sorry about my voice. He's on Mount Lemon in Arizona. It's a 10-pointer. So, let me get the time off there. Okay, I'm just entering into my log. Let me show you. And I was using my bencher paddle. I have the Kent hooked up to the FTDX 5000. But right now I'm using the FTDX 10. That booger's a boss on CW. So anyway, you can see up there in the N3FJP log, I have worked him several times before. In fact, 4 times. This is about to be number 5. So if you're interested in stats, so there's his call sign over there. There's the band, time, CW mode. I was running 650 watts. 1735 is the on time. I sent him a 539. If you're in the CW and we're paying attention to that, he sent me a 579. And by the way, guys, don't get upset, or I say upset. Don't be concerned if someone, if you're running 650 watts and you get a 579. Okay, the deal is, especially in the case of these SOTA operators and POTA operators, they're usually using a bit of a compromise as an antenna. So they, in fact, may not receive you as strong as you would hope they would. So you do make up for that with a little bit of power. Now, does it take 650 watts? To be honest, probably not. I can tell you not, because, my friend Joel, usually he runs a 101 MP. He usually just runs a 200 watts from the radio. But I happen to have the amp on, and I was driving it. Let me see what I was driving it with here. Let me zoom out. We'll look at the big screen. So I was driving it with, 14 watts. Just rotating the function knob down here. And once I rotate it, it'll show up on the screen. It'll start, incrementing. Well, so I was running 14 watts of drive into the Elecraft KPA 1500. Yeah, okay, it's a legal limit amp, but I wanted an auction. I'm a big fan of the 500 watt amp, which can really do a little bit over 600. Much more than that, you really don't get a lot of big change. There's just not a huge difference. But, and CW just doesn't require a whole bunch of power. It really doesn't. You don't have to have a lot. I take a 5 watt rig out on mountaintops. That's probably what he's running. And use a wire antenna, usually an end-fed half wave or a linked dipole, as they're called. And I'll get, 4,000 plus mile contacts with 5 watts. I watched a friend of mine get an 8,700 mile contact with 4.2 watts from a mountaintop. Again, doing summits on the air. But yeah, just wanted you to understand that sometimes if you don't get the greatest signal report back from a SOTA operator or a POTA operator, or even boats on the air. Now the boats on the air probably have a little bit of an advantage because they've got water as a ground plane. But anyway, just, don't be too concerned about your equipment, and understand this too. There's not a huge difference on the S meter now between 100 watts or 200 watts and 650 watts. There really isn't. I've got a video about that. Look that one up. It's if you go to my website, n4hnhradio.com, or here on the YouTube channel, it's under the learning, I think it's called Learning Ham Radio playlist. Look for a video about decibels, S meters, amplifiers, and gain, okay? And you'll get a perspective on what I mean when I say changes in the S meter are not really great. I'll just give you a little bit of a hint. You don't even get a full 2 S units if you go from 100 watts to 1500 watts. Yeah, I know. But anyway, got him in the log, and thought you'd maybe like to ride along here. Again, that FTDX10 is just a boss on the CW. Now, I do have the optional 300 hertz roofing filter installed. Is it really necessary? No. Even with the stock 500, you can do a great job with this radio because of the DSP. What's the 300 do for me? It does reduce a little bit of the noise in the background, and of course, if you had interference from up and down the band, you're narrowing that band pass before it ever even gets to the digital stage, because that's a physical filter. This is a hybrid radio. So you got a physical crystal filter there at 300 hertz. So it's just pushing away 200 hertz worth of noise and interference compared to the stock 500 hertz filter. I'll tell you one other little thing. Here's a bonus. People who only watch the video based on the title miss a lot. The 300 hertz filter, the quality of that filter is superior to the quality of the 500 hertz stock filter. You can imagine, kind of a low bidder situation there for the 500. But since the 300 is optional and they charge nearly $200 for it, you're going to get a better quality filter. You just are. Now, that doesn't mean that every time you pay more money, you always get better. You know that. That's not true. That's why I try to steer you clear of some of those situations here on my YouTube channel. Especially for the Patreon team members, they have an exclusive environment over there where I give them a lot more exclusive information. But yeah, the 300 hertz filter, icing on the cake. Think of it that way. All right, hey, thanks for watching videos on my channel. I hope you enjoyed this one and maybe learned a bit. I'm going to get over here and log that one for my points on the SOTA Watch page. So I got to get over on that. But hey, thanks again for watching videos on my channel. Please hang around for about 42 more seconds. I want to acknowledge 5 of the Patreon team members I call long haulers. Without them, you wouldn't have seen this video. Thanks so much.